Hello and welcome to Wasted Plotential, where we discuss the wasted potential of our favourite plotlines. Dead or Alive Dimensions has issues. I've discussed its handling of Ayane's DOA 3 story and how its Irene retcon was later handled before, but one of the absolute biggest issues with this retelling of DOA 1 to 4 is just how much it likes to suck off Ryu Hayabusa. It shoves him into scenarios he doesn't belong in, upstaging the Mugen Tenshin cast despite having his own series to be the hero in. So we're going to go through each plot being retold and discuss how too much Hayabusa can damage the story, as well as how it could have been handled better. Ryu helping Kasumi against Raido in DOA 1 is not the way his involvement in that plot should go. Hayate asked him to look out for Kasumi, not to interfere by throwing a kunai into Raido's arm before Ryu himself has even appeared on screen. So here's an alternative. First, I would have Ayane beat Kasumi in their sparring match at the start of the game, and have Kasumi barely manage to escape Ayane soon after. This sets up Ayane as a threat for Kasumi to overcome later in the tournament. Ayane taunting Kasumi about how Kasumi is a pampered princess while Ayane had to fight to earn her place, further cementing the gap between them. Around the time of this match, Ayane attacks Raido outside of a sanctioned bout and loses easily. This all establishes that Ayane has the edge over Kasumi, and Raido is in a class above Ayane, making Kasumi's mission a very high mountain to climb. Ryu then approaches Kasumi to give her some guidance and training. Maybe he teaches her a technique that helps her win, helps her overcome some issue that's holding her back from reaching her full potential, or maybe she's not great at using certain Mugen Tenshin techniques, and so he helps her to create her own skills. Whatever the case, Ryu's assistance in her victory is less direct, serving as a mentor and guide rather than helping her cheat to win. This makes for a much stronger first outing for the series' lead character. Liu Kang's victory over Shang Tsung would be much less significant if Raiden blasted the sorcerer in the middle of the fight, you know? In addition, these scenes are used to highlight Kasumi's isolation, her taking Ayane's words about her expulsion from the clan as meaning she's alone, but Ryu offers her a shoulder and an ear, acting as a big brother in Hayate's stead. You know, let the man be more of a character, and less of a bland stoic symbol of badassery. And that's all DOA 1 really needs here. So, on to DOA 2. DOA 2 is the one time Ryu should ever be directly involved in the final boss fight. Tengu is the only boss thus far not important to the Doatech/Mist storyline, being only tangentially related to Donovan's machinations. Plus, Ninja Gaiden was dead and wouldn't see a revival for another 4 years. So, Ryu can have this win to highlight how powerful he is, while the three siblings are dealing with their own personal story surrounding Hayate's amnesia, the real meat of the story. I would not have Ryu step in to tell them to fight to restore Hayate's memories because that's stupid and a needless insertion of an outsider. At most, I'd rework his fight with Hayate earlier to have Ryu subtly nudge Hayate towards encountering Kasumi. While Ryu deals with Tengu, the amnesiac Hayate encounters Kasumi, and we can probably give him brief flashes of Kasumi Alpha taunting him, making him think Kasumi is an enemy agent to make him fight her. His memory is jolted back to him as a result of either being beaten by Kasumi or seeing his sister beaten and unconscious. Either way, Hayate is back, and the two have a brief discussion. Hayate asks Kasumi to give him some time to try and work out a solution to her expulsion, presenting him as someone who really does care about his sister, and not just a heartless dick who places asinine clan rules over his sister's well-being. Ayane then arrives to attack Kasumi, but Hayate fakes an injury flaring up to distract Ayane long enough for Kasumi to escape. DOA 3 is the most ruined of the first 4 games in Dimensions, as chronicled in the Ayane episode, but there's plenty I didn't touch upon there, like how the changing costumes in Ayane's fight with Kasumi makes the scene harder to take seriously, and how it completely erases the significance of Ayane letting Kasumi go for the one and only time, and causes the scene to make no sense when Ayane was actively hunting her earlier in the new scene with Kokoro, which also puts Kasumi in a school uniform as part of her cover story for some reason. Or how her rare defiance towards Hayate is removed in favour of having her stand around while Ryu and Hayate spar. Or how she wastes time dealing with Elliot when she should be out looking for Genra. But as for the Ryu focus, I really do have to question why they bothered having Irene get captured by Christie as a means of keeping Ryu out of the Genra fight that occurs right after he runs off to save her, if he was just going to wrap it up and get back to the fight in time to play a key role, further diminishing Ayane's role in her own story. In my version, Ryu simply stays away the whole time, finding Christie and Irene right around the time Ayane kills Genra. And yes, Hayate doesn't get to steal her spotlight here. Instead, he gets to team up with Kasumi against Alpha 152 next time, while Ayane's story remains her own. For DOA 4, Ryu's role is basically unchanged from the original, blowing up DOA tech airships, showing up to get updates from Ayane, and helping Kasumi to not die before she can fight Alpha. Ryu's role can stay the same here, maybe additionally distracting Ayane with a task so Kasumi can slip by to reach her destiny, and then Hayate and Ayane's encounter with Alpha can be reworked into Hayate and Kasumi, Hayate taking Alpha's blast for his other sister instead, before forcing himself to his feet to protect her in a handicap match. Then his injuries give out in the post-fight cutscenes, and Ayane or Ryu arrives to help him escape while Kasumi continues to fight alone, leading into that fight from Elena's ending. Fortunately, the series has eased off a bit on the Hayashi handjob since. DOA 5 had him be one of the 4 in the climax, and one of several who gets a shot at Alpha, but it's still Kasumi who gets a full fight against her clone all on her own as the final fight. Ryu's role here is just support for the others, as he should be. In DOA 6, Ryu is helping to dispatch the mass-produced Alphas and helping Kasumi a couple times, then goes with her to the Mist base and stays outside to hold off enemy combatants for her and the others. It's actually kind of weird to see him with the likes of Bayman when Elena shows up, being the least involved in a DOA climax he's ever been since the Dimensions retcons. In conclusion, Ryu Hayabusa has his own stories to star in, so he should only play support when he appears in other titles, like Ayane when she appears in his games. DOA is not his story, it's Kasumi, Hayate, Ayane and Elena's. But don't downplay him too much, because if he's going to exist in the setting and be a close friend to the main characters, he shouldn't just be a background extra. There's a balance between the two extremes that DOA 2, 4 and 5 handled really well, and I wish more entries could get it right. For now, we'll have to wait and see what DOA 7 does with him, assuming the series isn't in limbo just because 6 underperformed. Dynasty Warriors is coming back after the travesty that was Dynasty Warriors 9, so DOA should be fine to bring back after the just okay DOA 6. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Today's recommended video is DOA Dimension Story Differences Part 2 Ryu Hayabusa by Osmic. It's part of a series on DOA's story, this sub-series discussing the differences between the quadrilogy and Dimensions.